Hello everybody, Rob Yastrzemski and
Ankit here with RJ Homes and
eXp Realty.
That's right.
Guess what we have? Hot off the press, the latest and greatest stats from the greater Edmonton area. So let's get right into it. Last month, we're going to compare a little bit of what happened last month versus November. So the November overview looks like things are trending a little bit different than they did in October.
Yeah.
If we compare, what do you make of that?
Well, definitely positive signs, right? Market is very lucrative right now. Things are moving fast, right? So to give everybody a perspective, let's talk about numbers and we'll kind of all tie it down in the end of the video as well.
Sounds good. So I'll do November, you do October?
Sure,
versus...
yes, yeah.
So just a quick overview. This will you guys will get to have this slide so you can follow along. But just a quick overview. The average selling price, which is what everybody likes to hear, overall, all residential in November, it was $436,000.
And it was 440 for October. Not a really big change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just still kind of stabilizing in kind of one area as well. Where we do see a lot of changes in particular segments, again, we'll get a little bit more granular as we go by the type of property moving forward as well. Rob, if I have to overlook at this scenario, what is the one thing that you want to point out first?
Well, to me, I go directly into the year over year. That's what's the most important, is the changes in the number of listings, the number of sales we've had, and most importantly, of course, what everybody wants to know is the price difference.
Correct.
And so if I'm looking at November, year over year, total price difference, 18.4% versus last year increase for the same time last year in November.
Yeah, so these are the sales, right?
Sales prices, yeah.
Sales prices. So in October, we saw a really significant jump. We saw around 39% approximately on the jump. But in November, we saw that it's about 18.5%, right? So, but given that our average price is still around the same corner, which kind of tells you that there is the type of home that has been sold has changed, not the average price point.
Exactly, you hit it on the head, you betcha. So we're gonna go right into the details of this, but really what we want to focus on is the year over year markets. We are going to touch base month over month. What I'm seeing here is that last month we had 1,920 sales in November. So what we're doing is comparing sales. So we've had 1,920 sales in the month of November versus 2,489 sales in October, which is normal. Our peak period for activity is usually spring and fall. And as we're closing in on the year, closer to Christmas, things start to drop off a little bit, which is kind of normal.
It's a pretty common real estate life cycle. As we hit November, December, January, it kind of slows down, technically speaking, in a normal market, right? But you know, still when we consider the amount of sales that are still happening, it's looking, everything's looking in the upward direction so far, right?
Yeah, and we're discussing overall the whole greater Edmonton market, which includes all of the small communities around Edmonton. The Edmonton real estate market stretches far. We go all the way north to Lac La Biche and Athabasca, west past Westlock, east past Toefield. So it covers a vast area. So this is including all of it. And if we look at the difference in the amount of sales between November and October, we had a drop of about 22%.
Yeah.
Versus in October, we had an increase between October and September of how much?
We had about 10.5% increase.
So what that shows you is that the typical amount of activity ramps up in the spring and in the fall, and then things start to slow down. So we've crested in October, and we're starting to slide down in November, which is very normal for this time of year. So moving on, let's get into the actual granular.
All right. This is my favorite part, prices. right? Everybody's curious about what the market's doing, and most of the people kind of related with the home prices, right? So as we kind of touched base earlier, the average price for November was $436,000. Very slight change from 440 in October, right? We do see this is actually an increase as compared to last year, though. Right? So as compared to last year, our prices have increased by almost 15%. So it's 14.7%.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Not only double digits, but 15% increase in prices overall. And remember, this is including all of the properties, vacant lots, apartment style condos, townhomes, single family detached, luxury homes.
As long as it's for
15%.
sale, it's included over here.
As long as it's residential.
As long as it's residential,
Yeah.
right? Now, 15% is a humongous increase as compared to last year. So that just tells you how timing the market is really, really important, right? Like where the trends are going. I won't be amazed if we are talking about another roundabout increase in the same double digits. So it's still a good time for buyers, right? And sellers, like you're selling at a high, and the buyers are still doing a fair bit of investment because they can still expect a double-digit return on their investment.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that because investors are looking at the big picture like all over Canada. And if we're looking at the rest of the Canadian real estate market, we're talking Ontario, BC, and most of the rest of the Canadian provinces have actually been declining in their prices and activity, where Alberta has been increasing. And the Edmonton market has always lagged behind a little bit in Calgary, and so much so that this year we're sitting at about a $250,000 average price difference.
Wow.
Between Edmonton and Calgary. So we're even seeing people from Calgary moving up to the Edmonton area because there's such a difference in price.
And I would assume, and that's just my assumption, Calgary ain't going to drop their price to match ours. We have got to jack up our price to get that difference back to usually what is like 100 grand.
It is. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I've been in real estate for over 20 years, and I've been an investor for over 40 years. So I can confidently say that over the decades, the average price difference between the Edmonton market versus Calgary is about $100,000 difference. Yeah. Right now it's 250.
250.
So it's going to catch up eventually. So this is a great time to invest here in the Edmonton area.
Oh, so we got some work to do then to reach to Calgary, eh? All right, so everybody's favorite property type, detached segment. Usually when we were comparing in the past couple of months when we did September and October and November, right? The detached segment grew significantly, but as compared to the other segments of market, didn't grow that much because the price was high, right? But some things changed in November. This time we see a double-digit increase in the detached segment as well. Our prices have increased by 12.8%, making
year over
year, making it an average of $540,000 for the detached segment. So if you're looking for a single home, a detached home, your average price point is $540,000.
Again, that's taken into consideration the whole greater Edmonton area, not just Edmonton. So we're talking all the smaller communities, Fort Saskatchewan, Spruce Grove, Gibbons. We're talking Short Park, St. Albert. Everything's included in these numbers.
Absolutely. Now, my favorite type of property, which is the half duplex, also called the semi-detached property. Again, this is not surprising anymore because we see year over year this number keeps increasing. So this year as compared to last year, we grew by 13.3%.
Amazing.
Right, and it was what 17% in September and around 50.
I think we have that actually.
Yeah, somewhere, but I'm just going out of my memory at this point. But average price point is still affordable. It's $411,000 for a half duplex semi-detached property, right? Which is one of the most investment-friendly properties that's out there. So $400,000, $410,000, $411,000 is still not a bad price point.
Exactly. Because you at a duplex, you're basically saying that you're able to purchase a half duplex that's relatively the same in size, relatively the same in year as a single family detached home, but for about, what are we talking, $140,000 difference.
140.
So what a much better bang for your buck. And in this case, these duplexes actually have gone up by 1.1% just since last month, just since October. Usually we see these gains of 1 or 2% over the whole year.
Annually, yeah.
So this is fantastic.
Another thing I like about this particular segment, and after seeing so many half duplexes as an agent, they are all as big in terms of square feet as a single family home. Like I've seen 1600 square feet, 1400 square feet above ground, and which is same as a detached home.
That's right. And all you do is you're sharing one wall with your neighbor, and these newer duplexes especially are built very well, soundproof, well, not soundproof, but very, very sound deadening, and you really hardly hear anything from your neighbors. So great value if you're interested in getting into a duplex and you can't quite afford the single family detached. This is still a great way to go.
Yeah.
Now
we'll move on to more houses joined together. So talk about the townhomes. Now, this segment of the market was very hot last month, right? We did see a significant price increase, exactly 6% price increase as compared to last year, right? And the average is pretty much similar as compared to the last month, so around $290,000, $288 to be exact. But still a very, very desirable, very, very affordable section of the market. Most first-time home buyers, out-of-province investors are investing in these kinds of townhomes because they're easy to maintain. Usually the maintenance is taken care by the condo board itself. So very, very investment friendly and first time friendly properties, these ones.
Agreed. And you know what, I would just want to touch, I just want to add to that is that these townhomes, row homes, they're multiples, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 in a row, and they're not necessarily condos, so not necessarily strata. As a matter of fact, the newer home builds nowadays, the builders are focusing more on non-condominiumized townhome products. So you don't have those strata fees, those condo fees. You can just own your own unit, and you are only responsible for maintenance on your own unit, and for much less than a regular duplex or a detached home.
Yeah, to give you a perspective, we do see these non-condo townhomes, new builds popping up all over in the southeast and southwest Edmonton, and we see a lot of new development even in the northeast Edmonton for all these non-condo townhome complexes being built at the moment. So really worth checking them out right now.
They're really becoming popular right across the segment, not just in Edmonton but everywhere, because really it's been proven over and over again that buyers just don't want to pay the condo fees if they don't have to. So.
Exactly. Now this particular segment, the condo apartment segment, was the most surprising find. I did not expect it, to be honest, to see this level of increase. All right, let me break this down.
So if you own an apartment style condo, listen up.
Yeah, I'll go slowly on this one so everybody understands. Okay. The average price point is $200,000, right? But the significant increase in the price is 17%.
Year over year.
Year over year. So if you bought a condo last year, more than likely your value has gone up by 17% on an average, right? We never see that in condo.
Never. As a matter of fact, I just visited a condo seller, and this is an original owner. She bought this when it was brand new construction back in 2007 here in Sherwood Park, and she paid $275,000 for this unit in 2007. 2007 was our peak.
Yeah.
And then prices have gone down. Of course, everybody knows about 2008 drop right across the whole world. And then things went up again for 2014. We had another peak, and then back down again here in Alberta because we were really affected by the energy crisis. And then, of course, now in the last couple of years, ever since COVID, we've been increasing slowly but surely. And now we're finally seeing prices creep up. We're basically back to 2007 prices again.
Yeah. You know what this tells me? This particular data is so important for me because this shows how many people are moving into Edmonton. The reason that our Edmonton market wasn't very lucrative for condos is just because of the vacancy rate. But more and more people moving in, they need space and they're choosing to purchase condo apartment units. And as the supply went down, prices went.
Correct. So even though, and it's a good thing you mentioned vacancy rate, our vacancy rate here in the greater Edmonton area is extremely low right now. So very investor friendly. If you are thinking about investing into real estate, apartment style condo is a great way to kind of start, make it an easy entrance into the market, low maintenance, and you can get yourself a tenant very quickly.
Very, very quickly.
And you can be picky. You can make sure tenants have, no pets, no smoking, and you can get top dollar for your nice units.
Exactly. Now, touchy topic, inventory. Right? So I'm going to talk about October. I'm going to let you talk about the November inventory as compared. So on October, we had 5,125 homes available for sale.
Properties. Not just homes.
Not just homes.
This includes single family homes and vacant lots.
Everything residential, basically, right? Now we have seen a drop in inventory. And how much are we?
So 600 less properties on the market in November versus October. So you know what? We were discussing this back in October, how we had very low inventory rates. November is even less. December, we're expecting even less. So you know what? The sooner you buy, the better. If you're a seller, contrary to what most people believe, December, January is the best time to sell because that's the least amount of competition you're going to have. We will see inventory rates start to increase come spring. You don't want to be one of those sellers that's competing with all your neighbors. You want to put your home on the market now so that you can make sure that you're the one that stands out and there's very little competition.
And same goes for the buyers too, right? Like there are only serious buyers and serious sellers in the market. Even for buying as compared to any other season, when it gets cold, there's less competition generally, but this market, when the inventory is so low, it's safe to say that we're still in a seller's market.
Some of the inventory that hasn't sold yet, those sellers are starting to think, hey, you know what, maybe I should be a little bit more flexible with my price.
Exactly.
So this is a great opportunity for buyers as well.
All right. So on the same note, let's talk about the new listings coming up that had come up last month, right? So in October, right, we saw around 2,900 new listings that came up. Now in November,
much less, 2,114. So 800 less new listings across the whole segment than last month. So that's incredible. As I said, this is no surprise. However, what is interesting is the year over year.
Year over year, we increased by 1.3%.
So last year we had 1.3% less listings on the market than we do this year. But even so, we're still seeing prices increase. So even if we had a little bit more on the market this year.
That is because we have more demand as compared to last year as well. So the reason that we're feeling that we are low in inventory is because
more buyers.
Our market is still showing the similar kind of inventory like it did last year, because 1.3% increase technically speaking, but it's the demand that the supply cannot keep up with it.
That's right. Yeah, because last year it began, actually it was even the year before is when it began, the migration from across Canada from other provinces. Last year it really took off, and this year it's really taken off. So basically it's like, one person tells their friends tell their friends, and before you know it, the whole family tree and all their friends have moved from other provinces to Alberta. Yeah.
So what happens with low inventory means technically lower sales happening as well.
Number of sales.
Right. So just to give you a perspective, so this doesn't mean that there are low sales happening. It's just in accordance to what's available, this is still a very, very strong number, right? So in October, there were total almost 2,500 listings that were sold, right? And in November,
went down, not a surprise, 1,920. So we're down by about 25% or 22.8% exactly, less than the month before.
But as compared to last year, we are sold 19% more listings.
That's right. So it just goes to show you that month over month, no surprise, we're going into the Christmas season. We have less inventory, we have less sales happening in the Christmas season. But if you look at compared to last year, we had 18.4% more sales in the month of November in 2024 versus November 2023.
Exactly. So although we had the same level of inventory, we have sold more homes.
That's right.
At the same time, right?
Oh.
Days on market. Whew. Oh my God.
Another favorite of yours.
Well, things are selling like hot cakes, just like in the greater Edmonton market. This data becomes very important because this manages the expectations of the sellers and the buyers, because a lot of our clients ask, hey, this property has been in the market for 20 days. Why hasn't it sold yet? Is there something wrong with it? I'm like, no.
Normal.
The data suggests that this is how long it's going to take.
As a matter of fact,
let's talk about that.
Typically, on average, we're seeing on a balanced market at least double how long it takes compared to now. So getting right into it with all residential, last year, again, a really busy year, it only took an average of 46 days versus this year, less, 41 days.
Yeah.
Last year, apartment style condos.
So apartments, wow. So again, apartments are selling faster than before. So last year it used to take about 2 months. Now it's taking 48 days to just get sold. And Rob, can you explain to the viewers, how is this calculated as well? Is it when somebody puts and the seller accepts an offer? Like, when does this date get noted?
So this is from the day that it's listed on the public MLS system till the day it is removed, and that is the day that the buyers have removed their conditions. So typically when you have an offer to purchase that's accepted, there is a condition period. Sometimes the buyers need to get financing approval. Sometimes they want to do an inspection or a condo document. There's a number of other conditions that are sometimes considered. So that could be a week, 2 weeks for that period. So that is all calculated in it. So usually the day that it's listed till the day there is an offer is about a week to 2 weeks less than the day that it's taken off the market.
Yeah.
So this includes all that put together.
Perfect. Yeah, it's good to have that perspective, because a lot of viewers don't realize is that official sold is different than just accepting an offer. And that's how this is calculated, right?
Yeah, sold, when you see a sold sign outside when you're driving by, that doesn't necessarily mean that the current owners are already moved out. That just means that the buyers that have written an offer on that property have already gone through their due diligence period, have now waived, meaning signed off their conditions, and now it's officially unconditionally sold.
They're just waiting on the keys.
Just waiting for the keys. Sometimes takes a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever.
Well, not a big difference in the detached segment because it was already so fast, right? Technically speaking, the buyers need this much of time to move in and the sellers to move out. So it was 46, changed to 41 for this particular
46
year.
last year,
46
41
last
this
year, 41 this year. So just showing you everything's selling a little bit quicker than before as well.
Remember, on a balanced market, we're talking double this time. Apartment style condos, typically we're taking well over 3-4 months to sell on average. Now it's for 48 days. A typical detached home was taking at least 2.5 months, 60-70 days. Now it's 41 days.
41 days, so crazy. Townhouses, again, we saw so much demand coming in. Of course, it affected people waiving their conditions fairly quicker. So last year it was 42 and this year it is
37. So again, everything's dropping.
Everything's dropping.
It's just selling faster.
And again, the most hot selling item, the half duplex semi-detached property, again saw a 5 days difference quicker. So last year it was 39, this year it is 32.
Just goes to show you our greater Edmonton market is really active. It is seeing a lot of moves coming in from across the country, as well as other countries for that matter. Even within the province, people are moving from southern Alberta up here to the Edmonton area because it's more affordable.
Yeah, so this basically concludes what's happening in the market, but as we always do, some fun facts before we let everybody go. So we're going to talk about the high rollers. What is the highest selling listings in each particular category, right? I'm gonna not show this to you. I'm gonna say the numbers and I'm gonna have you react accordingly, right? So let's just start by a townhouse. So in November, the highest selling price for a townhouse was $771,000. Remember, our average is $288.
That's what I was just gonna mention, is that just take a look at the market differences we have here in the greater Edmonton area. And remember, this is the high roller that just happened to sell in the month of November. Yeah. We have much more expensive product than this, much higher price than this. It just happened to be that that's the sale. So if the average is 288 and the high roller is 770, and there's still other ones, just goes to show you there is a lot of room to move. You know, we're becoming one of those cities that's being looked at as great value, but also with still lots of room to move for as an investment. So perfect.
Let's go to half duplex semi-detached, 2.18 million.
Crazy.
Half a house for 2.18 million sold.
Who would have thought in Edmonton? This is not New York, this is not London, this is not Tokyo, this is Edmonton. Half duplex, not the whole thing, half, 2.1 million.
So you're sharing a wall with somebody for $2.18 million.
Crazy.
Love it. All right. I'm going to leave the corner for the last because that always surprises me. I'm going to go to the detached. Exact figure is 2.9 million.
So that's a luxury home.
Luxury home.
But if you compare that to a duplex, look,
yes.
you buy a duplex for 2.1 million. And just for an extra 800,000, you could have had a detached,
a bigger backyard
home, right? A bigger backyard, not attached.
Not attached.
But it's all about the location.
Yes.
So we all know real estate is all location, location, location. So it just depends on where this was. And I'm guessing this was either downtown or close to the university area.
Correct. Yeah. And the last segment, the apartment, this number always surprises me because it attracts a particular niche of the clients because they're looking at something really specific and they're more than happy to pay for it, right? So an apartment last month got sold for 2.8 million.
2.825 to be exact.
Yeah.
So that's only $75,000 less than a luxury detached home. Just think about that. People, this is Edmonton. We have never seen these kind of numbers, and this is on the rise, and we're going to see more and more of those. We're talking luxury penthouse suites in downtown where they have sometimes 2 stories. We're talking 4,000 or 5,000 square footers.
In some cases, they're bigger than a home.
They have a private elevator coming right up to their
private
unit.
Parking.
You know what? Some of them even have private elevators for their cars where they drive their car into the elevator and it takes them right up to the unit. How crazy is that?
I would love that.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty
Low
cool.
maintenance.
And no snow shoveling.
And they come with multiple parking stalls too.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that concludes it.
This is it.
This was the November stats.
Looking forward to
December.
December, you know what? I don't know if you guys realize this, but we're talking a couple of weeks before Christmas. This is crazy. So December, we're looking forward to, not only are we going to review December's stats in early January, but we're also going to have a quick review of all of 2024 for you. So stay tuned. Looking forward to that into January.
Next time. Ciao.
Merry Christmas, everybody.